You are now listening to the Basic and Boujie podcast.
Because the toilet seat is still there.
The toilet seat is out.
You should know. Do you live here? Do you live here? I think I said that every day. If that was a love language, I mastered it. Because I always used to say,
do you live here?
Do you live here? Because you don't ever know where anything is. Do you live here?
How long have you been together?
Right. Like, hi, my name's Melanie. Nice to meet you. This is where we live.
We don't drink 2%.
We don't drink 2% here.
All right, another thing. This is gonna hurt.
Oh,
the women or the men?
Both.
Damn.
Right? Okay. So they'll come.
Take a sip.
Yeah, take a sip. Everybody take a sip. Brace yourself for this statistic.
We're gonna be booked this summer.
Beautiful. For my couples, right, like when they come to me, they want, of course, like to take away the pain and to help them to communicate better, to stop arguing in a bad way, like stop holding grudges, and of course, like being able to get back to that intimacy. But then a hard statistic I have to share with them is that in them coming to work with me, they're thinking, okay, we're going to undo a lot of the stuff. Like all our problems are going to just disappear through the work, right?
In that one session that they have.
That's right. In that one session. So for everybody listening, listen to this statistic. 69%.
You had to say 69%.
69.
Convenient.
As I look at Josh with that. 69% of all marital issues will never be resolved.
That's a high percentage.
Let that muddle in your brain for a second.
Am I going to be single by choice along with child-free by choice? Because that's a heavy statistic.
So are they never resolved because...
Why, right?
Like, how do I say this? Are they not resolved because, like, well, fuck it. If we can't resolve it, like, we're going to break up. Or fuck it, we can't resolve it. Like, is that a major issue for us? Like, let's just keep pushing forward.
No. So in the sense of, like, that it's never going to be resolved, I'll give you an example. In my relationship, I'm the speed racer, so I'm the one going from like 0 to 60, right? 0 to 1,000. Mm-hmm. Tony is very, very he's very safe. There's a defensive. He's a defensive driver. Those things, those character flaws, those character traits will never shift, right? So if someone came to me and said, "Hey, Damaris, my wife drives like a fucking maniac. I feel terrified in the car. Help me to change her." The actual patient is the husband. Now I have to work with him and saying, what do you need to do to manage your anxiety? Are you looking at her while she's driving? Do you need to be on your phone? Do you need to have like a magazine? Do you need to have a puzzle? Because those things will not change. Those are the 69%.
That's how
if
he
someone, yes, and that's how he drives, right? So it's me like, okay, when Tony's driving and I want to cut in, it's just exactly, just go with him and take the picture where it's like, well, you can go left here. It's just, okay, how can I strike up a conversation? Mm-hmm. Or if someone's the OCD planner and someone is very laid back, type B, that they're like, all right, whatever I get up at 10 o'clock in the morning, if I feel like doing it, I'm going to do it. Or you have someone like me that plans 5 years ahead, right? Mm-hmm. Those things are not going to change. So in my couples, when they come in and they're like, wait, Damaris, how come they can't plan? How come I can't help her get on the calendar? I can help, right? The person to get on the calendar, but they're never going to have that same enthusiasm of planning the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that I help my couples, that it's just reaching a level of acceptance, that they're never going to be just like you. And as much as I love how couples and they romanticize, like, I unconditionally love you. No, that's fucking bullshit.
Thank
you come with a lot of fucking expectation and a lot of conditions into your relationship. Mm-hmm. Again, we can romanticize it and it's beautiful, but let's be real.
So you can't say, I love you unconditionally, but if you lose your job, I'm out.
That
is not unconditional.
That takes off. That is automatically.
Unconditional, that means rich, poor, sick, skinny, fat, in between. I love you today, I don't love you today.
Yes.
I don't think people know. I'm going to put the definition of unconditional on here.
Yes. You can unconditionally love your child, right? That's a different.
It's a different kind of love.
You can, I think that's the only one I was going to say parents, but even that, like parents sometimes become so toxic
Sometimes you gotta break up
that
with
you
them
need
too.
to also cut that off too.
I need a break.
But not when we're talking about relationships, as much as we want to give that to each other, that I love you unconditionally, everybody does come with the conditions. It's just being able to now, are we going to put them on the table? Or are you going to make the other person feel bad for like what they do? So like, let's say one person that's super organized and the other person's like, I don't care. Like, I don't really need to do the dishes. I could do it at the end of the week. And the other person starts to be like, well, why are you so fucking lazy? Like, why? Now I'm going to rip you apart little by little by little.
Make you feel bad about yourself.
Yes, this is where now it can become very, very toxic. So that's what I mean by the 69%. It's not cheating, right? I'm not talking about that.
It's more like picking and choosing your battles.
Yes, like the character traits, the personalities. And usually one will be attracted. Like Tony's the one that will get up and be like, all right, let's point onto the map and let's get lost on our motorcycles. I'm the OCD that's planning our entire year.
I don't want to get lost. I want to go right there and come back.
But see, like, it's really like saying, okay, babe, go ahead. Today's your day. You plan.
Right.
I'm going to follow your lead. I'm right behind you. But it's being able to find that middle ground that you're going to have someone that's like super organized and someone that's very laid back. How do you find that middle place where neither one of you is making the other person feel bad? That's what I mean by the 69%.
You should write a book.
One day if I can help
Still
someone.
like 10 hot tips on an ebook or something.
If I can
like,
help
come on.
someone, if you know how to write a book, you can teach me how. Like, I'll just give you all this stuff, and you just start typing away, and put it into chapters.
Relationship
Chapter
101.
1,
Right.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 1, love
3.
languages, because now we know how important they are.
That is the foundation. We can't build like communication, right? That comes up. You hear that
Key.
every other relationship tip is communication. I won't even start on that until my couples have mastered, because if you're running on like negative, if you're running on empty, again, everything you say gets picked up in such a defensive way. I give them a good couple of months where they feel love, that calmness is there, the guard is starting to come down. Now we can start talking about the communication, but we can't start there. The love languages is the foundation for everything. That's where now you build off of everything.
Do you watch Married at First Sight?
Yes.
Okay. Are you watching this season?
Yes.
So when they interviewed the men and the women and they paired them up, my first thought was, this isn't going to work. Only backtracking to what you just said about women and being alpha and business. The women on this season are very much like, this is how it goes. This is how I like it. I don't really need you. And the men are still very traditional. So I'm like, they put modern women,
Alpha females.
modern alpha females with pretty traditional men. I was like, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I think that they fucked up this
Yeah,
year.
I was like,
I need to find out who was in charge of like what assessment.
Right. I'm like, where's Dr. Pepper?
What assessments are you using that made you think that these people would be compatible? Because there's a lot of misfires. Like I thought that they rushed it or something.
I was like, ooh, these women and these men are not gonna work, because there's one couple in particular, the guy that's a little bit older and the young girl. She's like 26, 27.
The semi-alcoholic.
Yeah, that one. He was previously married, so now he comes with baggage. Well, you need to do this, or you're out. You can go. He kicks her out every episode.
And he keeps using that thing.
I'm like, girl,
just
leave him. But like in that relationship, it could have worked. I don't know, because they haven't done the final thing, but I feel like he needs a lot of work. Because he is not budging at all, where she's more flexible. And then all the other relationships, it seems like the women are alpha females and the men are like, well, no, I want you to like make dinner.
What's my identity?
Right.
While
like,
you're this strong.
Right. Like, well, what do you need me for? Because you got everything else figured out. But I caught that right away. I was like, this is not good.
I think
this is not good.
This time they either they probably rushed it, or I don't know, something got lost in translation to the Zoom. Like, were they interviewing them in person, where I can call Pat,
Paige and the guy Chris?
I mean, oh my god! Like,
come on.
I wanted to come through the TV every time I watched it at the narcissism. Like, he has some diagnosing.
I didn't catch that
in the beginning when he said that on and on, even on the pre, when they before they matched them, I was already seeing cues.
The same thing, like, gotta have a good body, gotta give me this many kids. Like, I already saw what kind of man he was by what he was saying. Yeah, like, I didn't catch that. Like, maybe they need more live interviews. Maybe whatever little bubble,
whatever system, whatever system, or the one the one that drinks. Like, did they ask her questions on what it entails to marry someone? Like, the last argument in the show was that she wants to bring her cats, and this man is allergic. So she actually fought him. He's a pilot. She was like, well, but you can take the pills. No, he can't. He has to fly for the entire week. If he takes pills, he's going to be like,
would you want your pilot on Benadryl? Like,
yes.
No.
And she fought. Like, she was like, but they sleep here and here. Like, she was really justifying.
Close his airway. No biggie.
just
blew it.
Here.
Right.
Yes, that's what she was telling him. And she was actually advocating or sleeping over her guy friends, like, when she got drunk.
Yeah.
And this is where he kept trying to remind her, like, that's your single life. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, you could pass out,
he's not ready to, like, be a little bit more laid back, and she's not ready to let go of her single life.
Yeah. Like, and this is where now they're crossing, like, they're getting stuck in that place where, again, what happened to the interviewing?
Right.
Do you think that they did this on purpose this season?
If they do,
they got my attention.
If they do that, like, how people say that, it's scripted and, it's all lies. If they did, then like this season was to create a lot of lot of drama, because we have someone who, the flight attendant, that she wants the sex, and you have this her husband that doesn't want to have sex and has never said I love you to a woman ever.
How old is he?
In late 20s, maybe early 30s, like that. And she's desperate to be intimate, because I'm guessing, right, physical touch. I'm guessing that's what it is.
And they haven't had sex yet?
No. And they have to decide.
Yeah, and one of the therapists said, well, what if he's a virgin? And when she said that, I was like, oh shit, maybe she's onto something. Or you have to remember, there's a whole production crew. Maybe some people are just not comfortable being that sexual or that open, knowing that their parents are going to watch this or whatever.
He's very religious, so that's true.
Yes,
he is,
so I took
monitoring
that into
all
account.
of that.
Yeah, I took that into account. I was like, he doesn't want his congregation or his family seeing this side of him. Like, maybe he'll take you down when the cameras go off. I don't know. But he's not going to do it while the production crew is there. It's not going to work.
But then something came out that he was being a selfish lover.
Oh.
Because now there was one episode where it's like the behind the scenes, whatever, like, at the end of it, where it caught her visiting the other wives. And she's like, what the fuck? I'm getting him off every night. So, of course, me as a sex therapist, I'm like, wait, are you giving him a hand job? Are you giving him a blow job? Are you grinding? But there's no penetration. So, you know how some people have those labels that this is not sex, this is sex, this is that. So I'm like, wait, so this motherfucker is getting an orgasm every night.
That's not okay.
And I'm like, is he going down on her? I had so much questions to ask her after that. Like, are you just a selfish lover?
How do we get you on that show?
Please,
like somebody hire her.
Like, what is going on? So yeah, like, I think it might have been mismatch on purpose, to bring up the ratings.
Yeah,
there's a possibility.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, you've never said I love you
ever, and she's already ready to say it.
Like, she's ready to say
it. Like
she's ready to have sex on the day that they got married. He was not trying to do that. Meanwhile, then we talked. The narcissist had sex with her that night and the morning of, and then pretty much was like, yeah, I'm not attracted to you.
I'm not attracted. On their honeymoon, Jocelyn. On their honeymoon.
That he's
alive.
She's not. Yeah,
he's still alive. He's still alive.
She's not the typical. He said everything without calling her ugly. Like, you're not it's not the typical type.
Is that the guy that you posted watching and said like
No, that was the pilot when I was like, I hate his face, because that was when he was attacking her about the dogs.
Yeah.
And I was like, leave her and the dogs alone. Those are her therapy dogs.
They all right. The wives all have puppies this season as well. That's another.
This is the season
that's another
where
trend.
They all have pets.
All of them have
men and the
fur
women.
babies.
So now you have to come together as a couple, and you have to come together with your fur babies. And he had one on the way. Yeah. Are you not caught up on this season?
I'm not.
Okay. It's a fucking disaster. And then it blew my mind. Like, I'm all about having
somebody's pregnant
from a previous
baby
relationship.
Mama.
A baby mom. Yeah.
again on the honeymoon. This all
Okay.
came out on the honeymoon. For Christ's sake, like,
Right.
and it broke my heart that she stood by him and basing it off
gonna be an
of
amazing
religion.
wife to somebody.
That she was like, God sent me to
Right.
you. I'm supposed to hold this. I'm supposed to hold and be strong because God brought me to you. And it was like, stop! Like, God is not going to send you over a cliff
You
to
signed
destroy
up for
your
the
life.
show, ma'am. God
Yes.
did not sign you up.
He said,
Like,
what are you going to do with this one?
Right. I
And
see
you
where she was
said, "I'ma
coming
stay."
from, and I said, you know, one day she's gonna make somebody very happy. She is like, she wants to be a
She's
devoted
devoted.
wife.
She's loyal.
She's gonna make somebody extremely happy, just not him.
Yeah.
Because he can't. He likes her body, but he don't like her face.
And it blew my mind how he kept, like, it was like, oh, she didn't leave me yet. So let me throw something out. So first I called you
Whispers
ugly.
in her ear so that the mics
The
don't
camera
pick
don't catch
up.
it.
Do they pick it up at all?
No.
Nothing?
Sometimes they'll say it in the bottom.
Sometimes. The one where he like took her into the bathroom and he
Yep.
turned the shower on and he was like, take your mic off. Sketchy.
I gotta watch this.
Yeah. So it's like, I called you ugly on our honeymoon. That was one. She didn't leave. So then I'm gonna tell you, my baby mom was pregnant. She didn't leave. So it was almost
ex-fiance.
yeah. I was like, it was almost like, let me see what else I can throw at her. Like he
Right.
had so little respect.
Like, what's
for
your
her.
breaking point?
Like
It's
I'm
like
just
a game.
So
I wanna
then
get you
she
there.
said yes. Now I'm gonna get baby mama a brand new Mercedes or BMW.
Oh yeah,
Mercedes
something like that.
to protect my baby.
Right.
That
He
was another
told
one.
her-
It was like another
Get her a
one.
Honda.
Right.
That's what she said, like-
I bought her a brand new car, whether it was a luxury car,
A
I don't know,
luxury
whatever
car.
brand, for his unborn child. You couldn't have got her like a certified
You get her a
used
stroller.
Ford.
Seriously, like how is that your? She's just pregnant now, if she is, right?
If
like
she
that's
is,
the
'cause
that's the
I
very big
don't-
thing.
I
Like
don't
if
think
she
she's
is,
pregnant.
but the
They
baby
even
isn't here
had
yet.
her on the show. They even got the ex-fiance who's allegedly pregnant on the show for them to meet all three.
That was another one that he tried. Like, okay, now I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable and I'm gonna make you look stupid in front of public. So talk to this woman. She was like, why do I need to talk to her? Because I want y'all, whatever how he justified it. But it was like, let me just hit her
Just
in every
again.
which way and see what is her breaking point.
And he was
then like, no.
dishonest with the alleged baby mama too,
Yes.
because when she said, well, there was a possibility that I could have been pregnant because they had unprotected sex during
Over
the
and
honeymoon.
over and over again.
Right. And then the baby mom was like,
What?
what? Is she? What the fuck she talking about? Like, he is just,
Oh.
yeah, you got this season is crazy.
It's like it makes you want to punch like through the screen.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
I wanted to punch the pilot a couple times, and I wanted to punch Chris, the narcissist, a couple times.
I've only seen that one season with the tall Matt guy that was like still.
I was going to
hanging
punch him
out
in the
with,
face, too, the basketball
like,
player.
dating.
Oh, he was vicious.
He was so mean to her.
She
And
broke
was
my
just like,
heart.
yeah.
She wanted it so badly.
She wanted it so badly.
She's talking about kids on the first day. Like,
Yes.
okay, but
Don't
also,
scare the
you-
guy.
You know what you kind of signed up for,
Right.
right? There had to be
Everything
some
is
kind
on the
of
fast
safety
track on
net.
this
Right,
show.
right.
Yes.
You got married at first, like the title of the show is what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the last one.
There's another one coming, Unmatchables.
Mm-hmm.
I want to watch that.
They have someone that hasn't.
That's not this show right now.
No. They have someone that has never kissed, and one of the therapists, she brings like this model, like to show her how to kiss because she's
Like
never
a real
kissed.
person.
Yeah.
No, like a fake, almost like a
model.
rubber, like lips. I was
There's a
gonna
girl that like
believe it.
eats fried chicken in the bathroom on the toilet and like does everything
farts
from the bathroom. Yeah, she's
everywhere,
like
like-
obsessed with the bath. Yeah, isn't it
But she
interesting?
farts not in the bathroom.
anywhere, and then she like lets you know, and then like is proud of it.
And they wonder why they're single.
Yes, like this is what. Okay.
Nobody else eats fried chicken on the toilet? What do you mean? It's just not normal.
It tells you.
Yes. And then I'm just gonna do this and just oh my goodness.
Oh god.
Yeah, that one is more like if you just want to be like
Yeah,
entertained.
Extra.
There's no love there.
Yeah, because then I was like, wait, are they unmatchable and they're trying to make them matchable, or are they just making fun of them? Because at
They're
this
just
point, I think
like-
they're just making fun
I think
of
they're
them.
just making fun.
I think they're
of
just
them right
exposing
now.
them, and that's it, because it doesn't
This is
seem
why
like they
you're
want to
single.
match the unmatchables.
No, like it's
This is
bad.
why the fried chicken girl is single.
Right. That's it. Oh my goodness.
Are there any other shows that you watch that make you reflect back to your relationships?
I think that's the main one. Temptation Island. You watch Temptation Island?
No, because that one it goes against everything I believe. Right? It's about
Exactly.
cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I think I would just be too
It's pretty
triggered.
much about you being in a relationship, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and then you go on this island with singles. So they split up the men and the women with
Ken and Barbie.
Beautiful Ken and Barbie singles, and pretty much you go on the island and now you're single. And the way I call him, you're not single, right? I call him Messy Mark. The host is Mark something. But Messy Mark comes on and he's like, all right, you guys are single. We're going to challenge your relationship and we're going to see if that's really what you want or if there's something better for you out there. So the episode plays out, and then at the end of the episode they have what they call the bonfire, and then you get to see what their significant other is doing on their island, but they only get 30-second clips.
Which is torture, right? Like, if they see you coming close to someone,
right, and then it stops.
Like, what happened?
You could have been taking an eyelash off.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So they take these 30-second clips, and you have to watch it because you understand why I call him Messy Mark. Because you watch both sides, and you see everything play out, and then you see what clip they choose to show the other person. It's like, that's not what it was. That they're gonna, yeah. I mean, sometimes it is. Like, there was a threesome one time, and the woman was watching, and she's like, week 1, he cheated on her with 1 girl. Week 2, bonfire was him in the bed with 2 girls. Like, there was nothing going around that. But there were times where there was a party and somebody was dancing with each other, but they made it look like it was an intimate thing when it was actually a crowded space. Exactly.
See, that's torture.
Good old
like,
Messy Mark.
You're really fucking with people, like, heart and, like, yeah.
Because then a lot of people will respond by, okay, well, you look like you were being intimate with somebody, so now I'm going to go ahead and do this. And then they come back the following week and be like, oh, shit, they didn't do anything, and I already cheated.
You just fucked, like, 3 people in 1 weekend.
Yep.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
That would torture me.
It is. It is. But it's so entertaining.
I'm sure.
It's so entertaining. I love it.
So messed up.
Yeah, the Temptation Island and Married at First Sight are the 2 that always make me reflect on my relationship. And when I think about being on either of those shows, I'm like, if I was on Temptation Island, I probably would have fucked up.
You think?
Not even lie.
Okay.
Because what I was missing was that affection and that, you know, that intimacy and that quality time. And I feel like if I would have got that on the island, I'd be like, okay.
Like a crackhead, like, yes, like, I need that.
This is what I've been fiending for.
Because you also not thinking that person's doing
what could they be
too.
doing?
Right, exactly.
Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
That's a messy shit.
Yeah, Temptation Island would have got me for sure.
And, like, some of those shows, like, I wish that they would have, like, on Married at First Sight, I wish they would have, which they do. I think one of the therapists is a sex therapist. Mm-hmm. But I would wish that she would talk more about the major issue that presents itself, that a couple can have, like, really, really great sex together. But it's, I'm doing this 21 years, we're in 2021, right? Like, and that women are still getting stuck in the sense of, like, why am I not having an orgasm through penetration? I wish they would vocalize that statistic more on Married at First Sight. Like, when we're talking about intimacy, yeah, physical touch is one thing, right? The kissing, the oral, the foreplay, all of that. But just really kind of, like, educating the masses that men still think that. I have guys that still contact me, Damaris, can you medically, like, prescribe Viagra? Because I want to last, 45 minutes, right? The infamous, I want to last the whole night. And I have to constantly keep educating men that is not the point. Like, if you think me giving you Viagra, then of course I got to ask questions.
Right.
But there's still that notion today that women still feel like, why am I not able to have an orgasm even though he's fucking the shit out of me for half an hour? Mm-hmm. Well, he's missing the whole point. Right. I wish they would put that more on it.
Yeah, they don't talk about that.
Yeah, like, to not just say, okay, yay, they had sex, right? They consummated their relationship.
They consummated the marriage.
That's wonderful. He busted a nut. My question is, did you come?
Right.
Did you come? And then I would ask, like, were you able to feel comfortable? And then what does that look like? Like, was there heavy petting, or was there enough oral? Was there enough grinding? Like, I wish they would put that, because there's still a lot of women that still feel like I should. And they come to me and saying, Damaris, like, teach me, or the infamous, teach me how to have a vaginal orgasm. That doesn't exist. Our clit has legs. It's all the clit. Like, please don't waste time. Like, you're gonna make her sore. You fucking the shit out of her for that long. Like, stop. Get off. Exactly.
Get off of me.
Like, get off. And then now you're like, why she don't want to fuck me for the next 3 days? Because you made her sore and she didn't come.
It was all for you, sir.
It was all for you. Like, what is the point if they're consummating their, their marriage and they're having sex? Like, it's almost like a point of rite of passage. Like, yay, we're having sex every day. My question is always like, are you having orgasms every day?
Enjoying it?
Are you coming every day? And that statistic, they'll say like 75 to 80% of women will report that they do not and will not come through vaginal penetration.
75 to 80% of
80%.
women.
A guy can fuck you as much. Go put Viagra, whatever. Put the cream.
So for those men that want to have sex 3-4 times a week,
please
put that
listen
into
to this.
consideration. Sirs.
75 to 80% of women do not and will not ever come through penetration alone. If you are not eating her cookie, if you are not associating some type of like fingering, some licking, some toys, some grinding, finish her off in between, before, in the middle, or after, you are pumping away for your own ego.
You're selfish.
Yeah.
You're selfish.
Have another drink.
Here, you can finish
On
it
that
off.
note. Like, it breaks my heart because there's so many women that
Maybe women would want to have sex 4 times a week if they were getting. Thank
you. If you give your significant other, if you give your lady an orgasm every time, there's another statistic. Married women,
lady.
25 to 30% of married women, committed women, will report that they don't have an orgasm every time there's sexual play with their significant other. But then what happens? They'll report 99.99999% that they come every time they masturbate. No fucking shit. We know
what you're doing.
You know your body.
We know our body.
We know what we want.
So do you see how ladies, there's nothing wrong with your body. You can come, and we have the luxury, the beautiful bonus, that you can come as many times as you want. It's just, how do we incorporate that with your significant other? Right. That's where now you hire the sex therapist.
And
this is where now
insert link
her
here.
information will be underneath.
But like that, like circles back. You want to have sex 3-4 times a week? You don't even know if your woman is satisfied when you're done. You know you're satisfied,
yes.
But if you don't know that she's satisfied and you wonder why she don't want you to touch her, that might be
Does it correlate?
problem.
Does it correlate for you?
It can't be them. It can't be them.
Or they'll
They
say,
putting it down.
the ego comes in. Well, none of my other girlfriends have any problems.
Did you
Motherfucker,
really
they're fucking lying to you. You've been lied. Please, I'm here to tell you, as a sex therapist of 21 years, please, they're lying to you. So really be able to learn your body.
Stay in the relationship with the other ones.
Yeah.
Are
we gonna let go of someone that can eat the cookie?
No.
And make your toes twirl?
No.
Did she shake? Did her leg shake? Did she lie?
Right. She lied.
She lied.
She didn't shake.
Does she look like she had a possession happening? The eyes rolling back and the demons have taken over? Then no, she lied.
You failed. You failed at your job.
She lied, and that's why you're having sex once a week.
Right.
And it's sweet. Like, I love that they're very supportive women out there who will say, I love my significant other. I don't want to hurt his feelings. So they'll be like, it's okay. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I'm here to fucking tell you we don't fucking enjoy it. They don't enjoy it. Please take the time, just like you're mastering a love language, take the time to learn their cookie and to devour the entire thing. And you will see that, why we're having sex once a week. That will change very fucking quickly.
That's gonna change. You're gonna be like, ma'am, get off of me. When you're doing it right.
Take Gatorade.
Do what you gotta do. Drink some water. Stay hydrated.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love your statistics.
My favorite one is the 99.999% of women come when they do it themselves.
Exactly. We can figure it out, so we need y'all to figure it out.
Yes. And then it's also, as women, right, getting comfortable and showing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a hard one too for a lot of women, especially if you're raised Catholic, if you're raised very conservative, if your parents never did the whole sex talk or anything.
We're Latina,
so you know that.
Yes, like I taught, my mom is not going to watch this. She's not technologically advanced. I had to teach my mother how to have her first orgasm. And she has 5 children. She's been with my dad 53 going on 54 years.
That's insane.
And my mom never experienced an orgasm. And I had to, I mean, that took years. Like, she was like, years
That's
of me.
dedication.
Yes, like
Dedicated wife.
undoing all of that religious, pressure, and that as a woman, it's not about your pressure, your pleasure. It's about what you're doing for your husband. Like, it literally is undoing all of that. So for a lot of women, we're still nurturers, right? We still want to take care of significant others, and we don't want to hurt their feelings. So they get lost in the sense of like, no, it's okay. I just don't want to hurt them, or I don't want to hurt I don't want to bruise the very sensitive male ego. So that prevents them from being able to be vocal. Hence, if you're not coming and you're not enjoying the sex, do you think you want to come back to that ride?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
I'm gonna be like, I will skip that ride.
See you next month when I have to do it.
Watching Married at First Sight gives me more pleasure than my significant other. Like, now you're like, why do they want to hang out there? So why do you want to do that? Well, because you're not presenting the sex that you want.
Entertaining than what's about to go down.
Or the women who read the novels, right? Like the infamous, 50 Shades of Grey, right? Like, it gave permission for a lot of women.
There's a reason why that blew up the way it did.
Yes.
Because it was about women and pleasure and all that.
And their power, where they say, I'm going to let you do whatever I want, but I'm going to let you. It finally gave women to vote, like that voice to vocalize what they need, but there's still a lot of women that still struggle with that. It's still very hard. Like,
because I feel like men would be like, no, do it this way without hesitation.
Yes.
Where women were like, all right, well, maybe this is all you know, and I'm not comfortable telling you how to do it my way.
I'm a little angry at God. Like, when I die and I'm presented with him, I have this question where I want to ask, like, I think he did us dirty as women. Like, I want to ask, like, why would you put the clitoris on the outside of the body where my husband has no access to unless he's eating me out or, with his hands, whatever. Like, why would you do that to women? Like, you couldn't just fold it in so that every time he's penetrating, we both come at the same time.
That might be the next surgery. Like,
I mean, come
clitoral,
on.
like, repositioning.
Come on. Because they are okay for women that don't feel comfortable talking about it. All right, now we're lining up. Now, okay, it makes sense. But, like I think he did us dirty. And then the fact that men... Here's another statistic. For all you men that want to be all like, oh, I last all night, the infamous last all night. Men statistically will last 2 to 5 minutes in penetration before they will come. Listen to that again. 2 to 5 minutes from the moment that they start penetrating.
Say it in Spanish for Latino listeners.
2 a 5 minutos. Desde el momento que él te penetra, se va a venir.
Ahí está.
So, like, that also tells you, right, like, for women, it takes us on average 15 to 30 minutes. And that's because it's all mental, right? Like, it's you taking off your CEO, taking off your work, taking off daughter mode, taking off aunt mode. It's just, I mean, to have a delicious orgasm, it literally is you giving yourself permission to surrender. And that is taking off all the hats that we wear as alpha females. That is where the 15, 20 minutes, right? Because when the person is right in that sweet spot and you're able to like guide them up, down, over, left, right. But if you're not relaxed, if your mind is not there, if you're thinking of like, fuck, I got to do the dishes or I have this, deadline coming out later, then it's pointless. He's just wasting this time down there. That's where now it takes that time. So that's also a mismatch. I'm like, God, what happened? How come you couldn't get guys to laugh?
So what I take from that is you should always give your woman oral sex all the time before penetration.
Every single time, unless she tells you no. And there are a few, right? There's a few women that will say, hey, Damaris, I don't need that. It's not my thing. I don't feel comfortable. It could be sexual trauma. It could just be like not their thing, right? We each have our own stuff that sent us over the top. But that is like 1 to 2% of the women that will say we don't need it. Guys, please.
We don't know those women.
Exactly. We do not. I do not know, and I've been doing this for 21 years. I have not had a woman come into my office and say, Damaris, I don't need him. I don't like oral sex. It makes me uncomfortable. That's not how I come. That hasn't happened in my career of 21 years. So every single time you want to incorporate that, whether it's with your hands, whether it's letting her grind, I'm gonna go a little bit, go here, whether you're letting her fuck your face. Like, it's literally incorporating that where you're giving her permission to let go again and not feel like, is this woman like, am I nasty? Am I being too much of a freak and he's gonna think bad of me? Like, it's literally incorporating that. And when you give her that permission where she's not gonna be judged by you, where you're not gonna be like, your ego's gonna be like, where the fuck you learn that shit from? When you give her that place of peace, of safety, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Now we go into the advanced sex stages where you can teach her how to squirt, right? That's a big one that they come into my office. Or if you want to incorporate anal, if you want to incorporate the beads, like all those toys, that's where now that if you create that space for her to say it's okay, oh my goodness, you can
once you make us feel comfortable.
Yes, can you imagine what you can create in 10, 12, 30 years together?
Or 2 to 5 minutes now.
15 for us.
Yes. Like it's a beautiful thing.
But you said something where guys would be like, well, where did you learn that from?
Yes.
I love me some porn. I watch porn. I have no problem saying I watch porn. I study it. I learn it. I like to try new things. But I've experienced that in the past where I want to try something new and I'm made to feel like, where you learn that from? Like, what you
the
out here
ego
doing
was triggered.
something, like, who taught you this? I taught myself on the website.
It's called research.
It's called research. And I want to know what's out there. I want to know what I like, what you like, what possibility, what we can do.
Yeah.
So I play an active role in studying that.
Yes.
But when you are not comfortable, you will shut down. Because I have shut down and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just not even going to
We'll go back to vanilla sex. Remember from that?
I like chocolate sex with sprinkles. So you will revert. I had reverted back to vanilla sex because I didn't feel comfortable expressing like, okay, this is what I like. I saw this. Let's try this.
Yes.
I was like, okay, vanilla it is. No sprinkles.
Yeah. And all it takes is that small shift of judgment where you're like,
that's it. When you no longer feel comfortable, that's it.
Yeah, it's like, I made you feel uncomfortable, or like, oop, I went too far and bruised your ego. So now it's like, okay, well then I will turn it back. And that's where you're going to start to have how come we ain't fucking on a regular? How come we're not having sex like once or twice a week? Go back to that conversation.
Says, well, you made me feel uncomfortable on this X day. And it would be so easy to just have that conversation and fix it. But your ego is now hurt, so you're like, nah, I'm just gonna. You figure it out later. You should know. You should know why I got an attitude.
Then they come to me like, Damaris, I don't know.
I don't know what happened.
I have to take them back through all these conversations. Like, so happy you're like, this is where you.
Right.
This is where you went the wrong way. Like, why would you ask that question? Why would you not relish in the amazing that she just learned this technique or this position? And you be like, yes, baby, go ahead. Like, go. Like, you just
enjoy the moment.
Yes. Enjoy like, you moment. Just slapped that. You just shut that door altogether because your ego and like, yeah. Then they're like, fuck, how do I undo it? You can't. Now you have to help her.
Yeah, now it's going to take some time.
That's going to take time where you'll start to try new things and you make her feel comfortable. But once you close that door.
Sorry, you're going to need some help. Call a locksmith because your door is locked. If I am comfortable and you make me uncomfortable, I will shut down.
Yes. So now you brought up something interesting. What is your perspective on watching porn and how it affects a relationship? Because this also gets asked a lot.
Porn is healthy. I think porn is very healthy. Like, you don't know what you don't know, and I'm open to have conversations about sex, but everybody else isn't. So I have girlfriends that I do talk to them about that, and others where they're like, oh yeah, and I can see them kind of like, I don't want to talk about this, so I'll let it go.
Okay.
But there's some of my girlfriends I'm like, did you try the Johnny Rancher trick? Like, we're talking about tricks. We're like, you need to, let me send you this link because it's going down. But I'm the friend that's open to have that conversation, and everybody's not that open. So I think porn is healthy.
What are your thoughts, Charles?
Nobody want to be a bore whore.
I don't think we've ever watched porn together. Okay. But I don't think it's ever come up where it's like, do you want to watch this? I've watched this before. I'm gonna be 40. He's 38. we've watched porn before,
right?
But it's not been something in our relationship where let's see this or let's do that. But I don't think we're for or against it in a way that's would
it just hasn't come up.
It just hasn't come up. Yeah.
So from your eyes, do you feel that it's something that it is healthy to have in a relationship, or have you experienced or heard like questions that there's certain like guys like which comes up the most, like that men become too dependent on it?
I don't know. I mean, I think if the relationship talks about it, right? Like just with anything, with communication, if you talk about it and you both see an interest or like a willingness to do that together, watch together, learn together, yeah. But for us, it hasn't come up, and I don't necessarily see that as a problem because we're not having any.
Clearly, you don't
problems.
need it.
But yeah, if the relationship is open to it, right, both people have to be open.
Right. Because if somebody's completely uncomfortable with porn, and now you're like, well, no, we have to watch this together. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I'll have a lot of women that will get. Their egos will be bruised, like, and they'll come to me like, why is my husband or my boyfriend still watching porn and we're having sex on a regular? So there are a lot of women that have this misconception that if there is a healthy sex life in a relationship, then there's no use, there's no reason for porn. And right, there's always a balance to everything, right? There's some people that if your husband or your boyfriend is watching porn instead of having sex with you, right? Now we've crossed over into a different, a dangerous realm.
Right.
Or if they've gotten fired because they're watching porn excessively and they're not working, that's different. Or I have some guys that will watch porn and will masturbate and then they can't get aroused.
Right. Now you have a problem.
Now we've crossed, those are different, right? We've crossed over into the extremes. I'm talking about where some women will get into their own head, and because of social media, because of like, you know, Hollywood, they'll be like, well, no, that's cheating, and they'll classify it as cheating. You're fucking looking at another woman and then fucking me, and then they make that association that gets stuck in that very
I would
place.
never even cross that. Right.
The woman doesn't know you exist.
No.
Yes, and for some people, they forget that. Right, if you weren't raised that masturbation was okay, then it's always considered a taboo thing. Even if it's a woman or a man, whatever, but that is a personal thing. That's why it's called self-pleasure. You are allowed, like some people masturbate to sleep. Some people masturbate to get their day started. Like you have orgasms that just be like,
it's like coffee.
Like it's coffee, yes. Like, all right, now I can get started. But it's where some people, and this happens with men and women, where their egos, again, like, well, why do you have to do that? You could just call me. Well, you were working. You weren't there. So I had an hour to myself and I enjoyed it. But they get lost and then they label it as cheating. Or even worse, they classify it as sex addiction, which I have a lot of girls and a lot of wives.
I was called an info.
Do you recall an info?
I was called an info.
Like, and it's just their insecurities. Just now, I'm gonna make you feel bad for having healthy.
But I did it.
Good.
I was like,
good.
Okay, too bad you can't keep up.
For not having like that same sexual energy, or saying that it's okay, like you can explore in different ways. But yeah, for some couples, they'll get stuck, and then when they label it that cheating, man, that one's hard.
Yeah, now it's just like uncomfortable. Yeah, that's like a big. I feel like that just now you just went to a whole nother realm.
Yeah,
with that comment. 666.
Anything else that I haven't touched on?
I feel like a lot more questions are gonna come after this.
Oh Lord, yes.
But from the people that I've spoken to, sex was the number one question.
Okay.
The foreplay, the lack of foreplay. Now you know we need it. We need a head start
every single time.
We need a head start.
Allow a good 30 minutes for the entire act, right? Like. I don't want you to think like, oh shit, I'm supposed to last 30 minutes. It's for the entire act, from the moment you start to kiss to the moment that you both erupt and you're just cuddling in bed together. Allow for that space. I'm all for quickies, right? Quickies every once in a while.
Are fun,
in the middle of the night, by all means. But if you get stuck in only quickies, then you're ignoring your female's body and her pleasure. And I guarantee you, again, we can't come that quick. I mean, when right before we're menstruating, it could possibly happen. But that's like, you know, very, very low percentage.
Yeah. Do the work. Stop being lazy.
Work. Like,
don't
enjoy
be a lazy lover.
it. Yeah, like, I'm very big on no fucking TVs in the bedroom.
I do have a TV in my room. But it's not always on.
Okay, I'm fine. Like, let's say if you were like, that there's not a cable attached to it. Like, okay, if you're like gonna watch a movie together in bed, by all means. But it's when the TV becomes the background noise. So like, let's say at the end of your day, if you do have, let's just say 15 to 20 minutes at the end of your day, and you're watching news or the weather, whatever it is, whatever you DVR'd, you just stole that 15, 20 minutes that y'all both got in a delicious orgasm together and sleep it off beautifully. The TV now becomes the filler. So that's why I'm not a big, I'm not a big thing on having that, like where, let's say if you're doing, if it's home and you're, it's just a rainy day and you're just zoomed into the TV, then you have two banging ass couches. Like you could do some stuff on those couches.
Absolutely. That's
Turn the fucking TV, or like you can have it as background noise. Go ahead, put the volume down, but it's where you both are zoomed in. That let's say you had 4 hours together on a Sunday lazy afternoon. Do you know how much
We
stuff?
gotta wrap this up now.
Right. Y'all gotta go. It's Sunday.
Yes, like look at that. Like you have your house. Like it's just. But then if we're like, we're watching a movie.
Sex is not only reserved for the bedroom.
I think I did that in one of my my Facebook group that I had put that the challenge was to have sex outside of it. That's something that will cause couples to get in a slump. That they'll say, Damaris, how come like it's not as spicy? They'll add that word, how do we spice things up? Well, it's because you're having sex in the same bed, right? At the same time. And now you learn each other. Now you learn each other's moves. Where
Right. And like,
I know that he'll kiss me.
He done touched me here.
Yes. But you can also dictate what's going to happen. Like he's going to kiss me for 5 minutes, then he's going to flip me here, and then we're going to go here. Where you can now kind of like dictate what's going to happen. You want to switch that up, and that will. I have couples that will tell me, "Oh, we can't." Let's say we can't travel because of COVID. And one couple I recommended, go to a hotel room and just rent the room out and send the card, over online and it's text, and have the other person meet you. And that little change in their neighborhood, like it was in their town,
Nothing
but just the fact
crazy.
that it was there, they were able to scream louder, they were able to try new positions because it was a totally
And it's like
different
exciting.
thing.
Ooh, you just sent me this address.
Yes,
Where we going?
it
What's
almost
going
sounds
on?
like taboo,
yes.
like it's a sexual rendezvous. So even that, like that's where now you start to have it, keep it spicy throughout the years, is where now we can have sex like on the couch, or you can start in the shower, or here, like be playful here. It's like where can you switch it up, and that's where now you keep it always changing, where you're not having that same expectation.
Right. As
Like
opposed to like, all right, I gotta give him the sex check,
and
and I gotta go. Back
like
to
I know that we're gonna do missionary, we're gonna do doggy, and we're gonna finish off in this. If you can dictate
Yeah,
the
we're
three
done.
positions, you have to switch it up.
Sex should not be predictable. It should not be predictable.
Yeah, and like if your sheets are not messed up, then no, you didn't have a lot of fun.
There's no wrinkles.
It should look like who was murdered here.
All right, what happened?
What happened here? But again, like it's the guys being able to give that that feeling of safety for the woman to really let go. Because I think when that happens, I mean, it takes things to the whole different level.
Yeah.
When you have someone give you that freedom
I agree.
and that it's safe. No
Yeah, I think
judgment, no judgment.
Being comfortable is the biggest thing.
Absolutely. Now we're talking about not just having one orgasm. Now you can allow your body to go into the second or the third if you want to. Like,
Right.
if you want
Who
to.
doesn't want to?
Right. Like, why not? Bella, you doing the most today.
There's some people that get lost in the sense that, guys will tell me, well, my woman is only having one orgasm. And again, the ego is there. Like, how do I give her 4 to 5? It's not about the quantity, guys. It's about the quality. If you're giving her a mind-blowing eruption, I guarantee you that one is not happy. She's not complaining about it.
One and done. I'm taking a nap now.
Yes. Like, now she collapses in your arms in bliss. It's where, okay, you've already had 5 orgasms and she's still at 1. Now we're having a disconnect. So it's not about the quantity. Guys will be like, oh, how do I? Or they won't classify the oral orgasm because there's no evidence, right? Like there's not an ejaculation. They'll be like, well, she came, that's great. I can make her come orally, but how do I make her squirt? It's almost like they need to see the evidence, the proof that
Right.
they've done something well. Well, some women, what if she doesn't feel comfortable in squirting?
Right.
What, like,
You gotta be comfortable enough to do that.
don't take away from her that she's having mind-blowing orgasms, and now you're making her feel bad.
Because
yeah,
you
you can
need
come,
something.
but
You need some,
I need you
like-
to squirt now. Can you figure that out? And now you're making her feel like
They need
she's
the
not.
award.
Yes, like even that sometimes doesn't need to happen. By all means, for the
I said
couple
I
to
was
enjoy
good.
it.
That is your award.
Yes, like like, do you not see how
My legs are numb. That is your.
I am walking around like
I said,
noodles?
Leave me here. Leave me here.
Yeah, like I can't even get up. Like, what more evidence do you need?
Give me some juice.
Yes. Gatorade, orange juice, rehydrate, Shakeology. Like, I need to regroup.
Please break the bottle so I can shake it myself.
Like, please listen to your woman that, yeah, like, don't make her feel bad that now she's supposed to have 3 to 5 because no. Like,
well, you need to put that 5 to 10 minutes in prior to so that we could get there.
And when I was doing research in Miami, as I was becoming a sex therapist, of course I needed to research. I do not recommend anything that I have not personally tried. So there was one time, like, you know, I was single, so I was able to explore everything on my own. So I was able to explore and see, all right, how many times could I have an orgasm? Do you know how much time you need to dedicate to, like, I think my top number was 15, but do you know how long I was in my apartment, like, hitting every angle and toys? Like, guys, you know, like, do you know, if you want to get your woman to that level, like, do you know how, you need, like, you need
Damaris
to prepare.
has done extensive research.
It's expensive. And I need to find out how I can sign up for this research project.
Yes, like, they make it sound...
We take time to learn our bodies. So the men should take time to learn our bodies.
And that's why I love working with committed couples, in the sense that I'm always teaching them that the sex is always going to evolve too. Like, the sex you guys had that first 3 to 6 months where you're like bunny rabbits, right? Where you're fucking 2 or 3 times a day and you just can't get enough of each other. That evolves to where now you're settled and you're feeling in a good place. There's that sense of comfort. Now you're learning each other's body. The orgasms shift there. Then there's evolving, like if someone gets sick, right? I have some guys that'll tell me, oh, Damaris, I was diagnosed with diabetes, right? Obesity is a big thing right now. So, right, a lot of men and women are now being diagnosed with diabetes. Diabetes medication will help automatically give you erection problems. Yep. So they'll be like, fuck, again, the ego plays. I can't penetrate my wife. I'm useless. And in really helping them that you have 10 beautiful little digits.
Sure do.
You can go to the store and buy. And once they get out of their own head and realize that the penis wasn't what was giving her the orgasm. All along.
Everything around it.
It's everything around it. And when they really accept that it's the outer course, not the inner course, that's where now...
It right there.
Yeah, it's
the
like...
outer course.
It's the outer course
like
that
you
makes...
just titled our show.
I think
it's all built up. Yes. It's what makes the biggest impact. Because if we're talking about sharing a life together, right? Like, if you're saying, okay, I want to be with my husband until my last breath. You want to be with Kyle, like, right? You're my couples that are like saying, no, this is the person I want to share my life with. Then it's also taken into consideration that, yes, sex is also going to evolve through your late years. Where now, like, let's say when we hit menopause and now there's vaginal dryness, how does that look? What does that look? Right. Never stop having the conversations, right? Never stop communicating that, okay, sex may not look like this. How can we take it to the next level? I've had plenty of couples that the wives will tell me, Damaris, my husband has not had an erection in 10 years and I've never been more sexually happy in my life. Wow. Why do you think that is?
It's the outer course.
It's all about her. Yes.
She don't care about that little erection. It's the outer course.
Yes. Absolutely. So it's like giving your relationship also the space to evolve. That it's not going to look. Going back to the porn, right? A lot of couples will say, well, it doesn't look like that. Porn is just great to kind of like stimulate, right? Because we're visual. Some people are more visual. Some people will read erotic novels because they're more, in that sense, they need to see it written. And it's all about the buildup, right? So if you're looking at that porn, right, it's also not comparing. And for a lot of women, they do a lot of it.
Oh, I see what you're saying,
They'll just say, I can't match to her. I can't match to the position she's able to do, like if she's able to arch her back or like, you know, these crazy,
right,
you know. And then when we talk about, when I show them the statistics, right, that when we're talking about orgasm, like there were porn stars that actually finally came out and said, we don't come during these scenes. Like, this is fucking fake. Like, this is fake. Like, and then they were asked, like, do you prefer your husband to have sex with you for like an hour? And the majority was like, all I need is 12 to 15 minutes.
That's right.
And my body is able to respond and I'm able to have that orgasm with him. So it's about clarifying that they're not setting those expectations. Like, why is my waist not that small?
Right.
Why are my boobs not that high?
Don't focus on the girl. Nobody.
Yes, like just focus on what's happening in this couple and allow your body. But they get kind of like stuck in that. And very few guys will get scared and be like, well, she's looking at this guy and he has a bigger penis.
Or a six-pack and a big penis.
The biggest penis that can't come. Well, he takes pills and they take creamers, right? To make sure that they're not having orgasms during that time. So once I educate them, there's where
That's
they're
why
like,
they
all
can
right,
get past the 5-minute mark.
absolutely.
They're
And why
medicated.
it's a show.
Right.
Exactly. It's just all entertainment. It's not what
Who
real.
got an hour to get?
It's-
I don't have the
Unless you're snowed in or quarantined.
Right. That's a different story. Love some snow day sex.
Yeah, it's like there is different because you're not rushing. You're not, but you're not comparing yourself to
Yeah.
what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got a lot of gems today.
I know. I'm like, I have so many clips to post.
Again, all 18 and over.
Right. Your kids shouldn't have left this a long time ago.
No.
So, I don't know what
Like
to tell you.
an hour and 30.
I guess it's about time to talk about the birds and the bees.
Mom, they
You've had it
mentioned
by
this.
now.
What does this
Outer
mean?
course.
What is squirt?
Jamie, don't let the babies watch this.
She always has her headphones. She always has her headphones and she's good. I know that's one household that's good. Good talk.
Good talk.
Good talk. I feel like more questions will come after. I feel like you'll definitely be more booked and busy than you already are. And we will schedule for you to come back for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anything that can help to enlighten and just, I mean, if I can have couples at the end of your, like, after a couple months that you guys and they're reporting back, like, I've had this many orgasms, or I finally was able to do
my husband
this.
listen to the podcast and
Yes,
whatever.
please
Like, that would be amazing.
share that. Share that with your significant other, because then you have the opportunity where, hey, have you ever explored that? Are you willing to try that? And now it's a safe
Right.
place to talk about it.
Maybe at least if I had one thing that I wanted men to take away from this is make your woman feel comfortable.
Yes,
I think that's like at least for me personally speaking, that was a
Huge.
big thing.
huge.
If I'm uncomfortable, you ain't gonna get the freak if she not comfortable.
No.
You all want a freak.
The blood is going to be all up here. Everything's going to be tense. You're going to be dry. So it's all those cues that are telling that your body's just not there at that moment.
Yeah. Any last minute thoughts before we
Any
wrap
other
it up?
questions that they asked?
I think you hit them and more.
What's the time? Is this a 4-part? I feel like this is interesting. People will want to listen straight through because it's like, wait, she got more gems to drop.
You're going to have people taking notes.
Get your notebook. Maybe I'll put that in
Get your notebook ready and
notebook.
highlighter. Yes.
Get your spouse and watch the episode together.
Sit in a quiet place and focus.
Yeah. Watch the episode together. Maybe we broke down some uncomfortable conversations or topics that that people didn't want to bring up.
This used to make me uncomfortable.
See? Look at
Until you met the
And look at
Scorpio.
me. And look at me.
Oh, you're a Scorpio. That makes so much sense.
No, she
I'm
met
Gemini.
a Scorpio.
Oh no. Oh,
I
he's
met
a
a
Scorpio.
Scorpio.
That's why I said so she met a Scorpio.
Oh,
I'm an emotional crybaby Cancer.
Cancer. I'm like, you said emotional crybaby already, Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Scorpios, they got a reputation.
Yeah. This is where Kyle can come
that's
in
why
and be
they don't
like,
need to watch
you're
porn."
welcome.
Now we know why they don't need to watch porn. Because he's a Scorpio. No porn needed.
Insert Kyle's voice. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. My husband is also a Scorpio, so my hands
See, that's why you're so happy.
I locked him in. I locked him in.
You're a Scorpio. You're mine.
Higher.
You're mine.
You're done.
Do you follow that, like astrology?
I do.
Okay, I do too. So when I was like Cancer and Scorpios, man, that was a prerequisite.
Yep. That's for sure.
That was just a delicious surprise for you.
Yeah.
Scorpios is
Awesome.
I should give you my book.
Worked out for me.
I'm a Leo. A lioness.
A lioness, for sure.
That's what I said. I'm completely comfortable talking about sex and watching porn and all that stuff. But I need my partner to be as open, as comfortable as
Absolutely.
me. Because then I won't be able to express myself.
And explore. Like, let's try this
I
and
thought
see
you
if we
said
like
explode.
it. Not too, Mel.
Explore and explode.
Too, Mel. Explore, see what you like and what you don't. Always explosions. Always explosions.
Always. No pressure when this airs. No pressure.
We're gonna have people using delicious orgasms, explosions,
Cooking,
eruptions.
add these hashtags
cookie.
in there.
I always say cookie. Like, you're gonna have all those.
When they
We'll
want to
make
get
you a
a
Cookie John show.
Yes.
Cookie John.
The cookie doctor.
Jamie's
the
gonna be
cookie
so mad.
Cookie doctor.
The cookie
Oh,
doctor.
bitter, you mad? You mad, bitter? We had hors d'oeuvres.
She'll be back. And she'll tell us why she's mad.
Right. She'll tell us in the
On
world.
episode 17.
These
Because
bitches.
who knows what episode this is now.
Right. We always lose count. No, I really enjoyed this episode.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, yes.
This
Thank
is
you
a
so
good
much for
one.
having me on.
Thank you for coming.
This, I mean, we could
Thank you
talk.
for coming.
Jocelyn! Pun intended.
Intended. Can we write it out that way?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best topic in the world.
It
I mean,
is.
now you know
Either
why.
people want to talk about it, or they either want to talk about it publicly or they want to talk about it privately, but they want to talk about it.
Absolutely. Now we're giving them permission to listen and to see it and to be able to hopefully ask
And
questions.
to book you. Oh, one last question: do you take sessions with people that are not in a relationship? Like, let's say somebody came to you and they were like, I don't know if I'm ready to be in a relationship. Do you see any single people?
No, so mine's is mostly couples,
Okay.
yeah. And committed couples that have been together for that good 1 to 3 years and of course on.
Okay.
I have someone that I could recommend that, you know, does see, or like a dating coach. That's a different element, yeah.
Oh, okay.
A different specialty.
We'll leave all that information.
Yes. Yeah, so for me it's couples that have been, that are dedicated, committed to one another.
Okay.
They've already passed that stage where like we're getting to know each other.
Okay. Well, good talk, ladies. I really enjoyed this episode.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the show.
Yes.
Right.
All right. We'll be
Bye.
back next
Bye.
week.